Hello, Jazzy. Yes, before we begin, please take a moment to enjoy this new adventure that I have embarked on. And before you classify this as a mental breakdown after working in a high school, I would like to clarify that this was done intentionally today with planning and care. Albeit not as thought through as shaving my head, but I am very happy with the result. It was not as blonde as I would have hoped for because either we got the wrong toner or we put too much toner in there. I do not know, but it will lighten up with a few more showers. But this was our first time doing it, so you live and you learn. Special thank you to Delta and Cody for helping me out with the process. Okay. Yesterday was officially my last day of term 3 as an SSO in a high school in South Australia. It was incredibly eventful and educational, and I think a reflection upon my experience is overdue. First, I would like to talk about the difference between the first day, the first week, and now officially the first term. In relation to sounds, I have gotten used to it. The rowdiness doesn't get too overwhelming for me anymore, although every time they scream I would still cringe and having to tell them to just inside voice. Do you know what I haven't got used to? The smell. I know we used to be smelly, hormones and boys deodorant and whatnot, but I do not remember the salty sweat that mixes with bad drainage and horrible circulation and murky rainwater, which leaves a lingering aroma that is so strong to the nose. And then for good decency of certain people, they try to drown it out with the heavy, chemically dizzying froze up and perfumes. Just thinking about it gives me chills. I hold my breath every time I walk through the corridor to the office. Next on the itinerary is what I have learned from teachers. I know you wanted me to make a separate list and video about this, but when you put it in context, I have been with the same 3 year 7s classes for the last 9 weeks and mostly with the same 2 or 3 teachers. 4 at most. So I haven't learned a lot of diverse teaching methods. I could tell you a few things that I did pick up though. First, timers work really well in the environment that I am in. So every time they would talk and we can't get them to settle, a timer would be put on and the teachers will not stop it until the entire class is quiet. Whatever time was on the clock would then be owed in recess and lunch. I'm sure you've heard about this tactic before. I am here to say that it has a success rate of 3 out of 5 tries in my workplace. Secondly, be firm and clear about your expectation and be consistent about your schedule. Towards the end of the week, or after a big disruption, or towards the end of the term, kids start to mess around. It was incredible to see teachers recognize that, put their foot down and say, this is not the expectation that we set from the start of the year, and we do not accept that. Not that the kids immediately understand and get in line, but it was good to set that boundaries. They do the same thing every morning and clean up the same way every evening, like clockwork. And having that discipline and structure really helped them regulate. There are many more things that I didn't write down, probably because I took it for granted that I will be seeing a lot more in the future, and therefore are just learning by absorbing it. It's not always a specific thing that you have to do, it's the way you talk, the tone you use, the changes that you make. Overall, I am incredibly grateful for the staff that we have. Leaderships in workplace isn't always fantastic. There are flaws in ours too, but the workmen, the workwomen, they are incredibly supportive, thankful and communicative. It's a pleasure to work with them and just with teachers in general, because people need to know how hard teachers work and how much teachers care. I get to call the kids mate and treat them almost like a friend. Teachers don't get that privilege. They have to be the villain sometimes. I work really hard to change that perspective in kids, but it doesn't always succeed. While we are talking about consistency though, I also want to touch on the differences between students' reaction to my presence after 9 weeks compared to the first 2 or 3 weeks. I know that I said year 7s are more trusting, but the difference in time is huge. The first week, they are there to test me. They get into my space, they completely ignore my instruction, and most will worry when I approach them. And it's understandable now that you think about it. To them, you are a stranger that visit them for a few days. They don't know how long you were going to stay and whether they can trust you or not. The second few weeks, the troubling kids accept my constant presence, but my authority still doesn't resonate. And the good kids begin to talk to me, and that's who I usually target, the quiet kids that don't always get the attention because the teachers are too focused on trying to control the class. And the more attached kids, they begin to look forward to seeing me secretly. I have about 2 or 3 kids who sort of ask me whether I'll be in their class and whether I'm coming with them to excursions, and approach me directly every time I come into class to ask for my help. And the last 2 weeks, let's see, they come to me to report on their relationships. They always beg me to take them on a walk instead of just trying to walk alone, take a brain break outside without me. They ask if I will be in their class that day and appear disappointed when I am not. They ask for help when they need it, and they begin to look for me as much as they look for the teachers. I have about 5 attached kids who cling to me, screaming for my names every few minutes, and lights up when they see me. I wouldn't have it any other way. I have a kid made me a bookmark, that quiet kid that shut down that I was talking about when I first started to work there. Now say goodbye to me when he leaves and answer all of my questions with more enthusiasm. Those kids that don't get attention in class now yell across to me to say hello. And every time I tell them to get to work, they at least acknowledge it and try to. Not that I succeed all the time. I am grateful that I could be there consistently enough for them to regard me as a part of their pack. They don't always do their work when I tell them to, and the inclusive class is still warming up to me because I don't spend a large amount of time with them, but it's getting there. Anyway, I should end the video, and I can't believe I have to say this. Remember to comment, okay? I will see you. I don't know, have you posted a video yet? If you have, I will see you today. If not, I will see you next Friday.